Hey, it's Alchemist Camp, where we learn Elixir through building things. Today's video is an answer to the challenge from the previous video. That challenge was to make a simple program that reads all the file names in your current directory and then creates an images directory and puts all of the files which are images into that directory. So the way we're going to figure out what's an image file is we're just going to look at the file extension. If it's a JPEG or JPEG with an E or a GIF or a PNG or a BMP, then it's an image file. All right, so let's start at the top at this matcher. This is a regular expression, and it matches a dot. There's a backslash here to escape the dot, since a dot has a special meaning in a regular expression. And then one of these strings, so one of these extensions. Then this dollar means the end of the string. So this way, if you had a file named .png.txt, it would not match. It would only match if you have the dot and then the image extension at the end of the file name, i.e. if it's the extension. Okay, then we store the names of the matched files in this variable. File.ls is basically like ls is in Unix. It just lists the names of all the files in the directory. We take those names and we put them through a filter. If you're not familiar with this syntax, this is the same thing as making an anonymous function like this, fn, and then the variable name, we'll just call it x, regex.match x. Yeah, this is the exact same thing. It's just a little bit shorter to write it this way, which is why I did. All right, the next section, we're going to give the user a message and say what we've done. So we take the matched files and we run them through enum.count to get how many were matched. We save that in num matched. Then we make a message based on how many were matched. If it was 1, then we'll use file. And if it was not 1, we'll use files. Then we output matched num files message end. And so this is basically going to say matched 1 file or matched 4 files, like that. Next thing we do is we create the images directory. This is done with file.mkdir, which is also very Unix looking. It has a couple of responses. Could be okay, or it could be an error and a reason. We don't care about the reason since this is a one-off script, so we just throw it away. We use the wildcard and then don't do anything with it. If it worked, we say that the image directory was created, or images directory was created. If it didn't work, then we just say we couldn't create it. Most of the time, if this happens, it's going to be because you've already got an images directory, or maybe because you didn't have permissions to create a directory in the directory you're in. The last thing we do is we loop over the names of the matched files, and for each of these files, or each of these file names, we rename the file. Now this is a bit non-intuitive and why you'd have to look at the file docs. The way you move a file is by using file.rename and then just giving it a new path. So the initial name is going to be something like myfile.jpg, and then we would be moving it into dot, which is current directory, /images/myfile.jpg. So renaming technically can move directories. If it works, we get an OK, and we just write that we successfully moved it. If it didn't work, we just write we couldn't move that file name, or we couldn't move that particular file. So in order to see this work, I'm going to need some files in the directory that look like they're images files. So I'm just going to create some empty files that look like they're images. And more. How about .bmp? And how about .png? Okay, so these three look like they're images. They should get moved. And I don't actually want those files open, so we'll do this. Then we'll open up a terminal. All right, IEX. Actually, we don't need IEX. We can just use Elixir to run this. Elixir image snatcher.exs. I'm in IEX now. All right, we'll get out of IEX. Now we'll run elixir image snatcher.exs. And variable error was unused. So it was. Don't even need that. Matched 3 files. No clause matching. Okay. Right. It's not in a tuple by itself. It's just a bare okay. Let's give this another try, and let's actually delete this directory just so that we can see it be created next time. All right, so matched 3 files, created the directory, and we moved all those things to the directory. If we run it again, we should match 0 files and then not be able to create the directory. And that's what happened. If we had a file here, there, we would be able to move it to the directory. We wouldn't be able to create the directory. So if one part fails, the rest works. Now I've got all these useless image files there. I'll just delete it. And that's it for the answer to challenge 3. Until next time, code on.